Hello everyone, my name is Chris Keller, and in today's tutorial video I'm just going to show you how to properly set your delay and reverb in Cubase 12 Pro. So I'm just going to go ahead and play you this song which already has delay and reverb so that you get to listen to how the reverb on the delay was playing in the track.
Don't hide from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him Congo, baby. Your man never TT, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See I pay attention, formation. She got the right energy. Baby wanna play with a J. What's it gon' be? We don't know fake ideas. Melanin pop OJ. Everybody gon' say, baby girl one insane. Daddy gon' buy you bands, buy you something. Just up on Sony Bay. Wish I've done Ronnie thing, roll it bay.
So as you noticed, the moment I paused the song, that's when you heard the delay and the reverbs. Yet during the song, you were probably obviously likely not to hear most of the reverb and the delay that was going on. So basically, the trick that I use in this project is the sidechain method. So I'm just going to delete all my reverb and delay FX channels. So let me just highlight them both in here. And then I'm just going to delete all my FX channels. Press shift and then delete. And then yes. Okay, so let's just play that now.
Don't hide from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him Congo, baby. Your man never TT, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See I pay attention, formation.
Okay, you get the idea. So that's how the vocals are sounding like without the reverb and the delay. So the many ways of adding delay. One is this way, which I think I've showed you in the previous tutorial videos, where you add it using the Chris Lord vocal plugin, simply by clicking there, adding it in the mix chain area, or simply doing it by adding it on the send. So in this case, we're going to try and add it using the send. So if you want it to be automatically added, all you have to do is press this and then make sure your configuration there is stereo, because we want our reverb and delays to be in stereo configuration, and then go and choose your reverb type. So I'm just going to type in, I'm going to choose the Manny M reverb mono to stereo. So let me choose that, and then you can rename that to reverb. Okay, and then choose the number of channels you want to add, but in this case we only want one FX channel for the reverb. So what that is going to do is that it will add your reverb, of course, in an FX channel, but this will be automatically connected to this mix channel. Hence you have this already connected. But if you wanted to connect it by yourself manually, all you had to do is go to where the mix is or anywhere and just say add track and then go to this option. So there's this option and this. So this will give you the option to add it manually. So we already have that connected. And for this option, we'll try and change it to delay when adding it manually, for the sake of showing you how to add it manually. So I'm just going to look for my delay. So we'll try and go with the S delay by waves, and then let's rename that to delay. And then make sure it's in stereo configuration again, and then just add track. So now we have our delay FX channel there, same as this, but because the option that we chose was different, hence it won't be added automatically, hence you're not seeing anything here. So if you want to add it manually now, all you have to do is pick any send option here, and then just go to where it's written delay, and then to activate it, press this and now you've connected it. So it's showing -2 because it still kept the information of the previous delay. So let's just put it on default, which is 0. But before we do that, let's disconnect this and let's move step by step so that you can easily follow without getting confused with how I did this and that. So I'm just going to bring it back to normal, which is no bass. And then let's try and work on our reverb for now. So let's close our delay and let's go to our reverb channel. So remember, right now it's on 100% send. We've sent it like 100%, which is like 0 is almost the same as 100% of the reverb. So now let's open up our reverb, which is this channel, and then as it opens, let's listen to it and choose the best reverb sound settings that we can go for now, based on the song that you're mixing, of course. So let's just play it.
Don't hide it from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him kango, baby. Your man Nefertiti, Queen and Bella.
So I feel like this sounds good, but I'm just going to try and adjust some highs, mids, and lows just to see how best it can sound like. So let me do that now.
Don't hide it from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him kango, baby. Your man Nefertiti, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See, I pay attention.
So I just added a boost of the highs and the mids and reduce the lows in the reverb. But as you can tell, the reverb is all over the place. You know, it's too wet for the vocal. So what we need to do is make sure that we try and control it, the levels, by bringing in a compressor. You can do that with the wet knob, but then we're going to use a compressor to really help us not just control the levels of the reverb, but sidechain it in such a way that the reverb will only be heard once the vocal is mute, or rather on the quiet parts of the vocal. So that will be done automatically. Hence, whenever the vocal comes in, the compressor will make sure that the reverb goes down automatically and comes out only after the vocal goes quiet. So now what I'm going to do is try and set the levels of the compressor right now. So let's just do that first before I sidechain it.
Don't hide it from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him kango, baby. Your man Nefertiti, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See, I pay attention.
Okay, so let me just increase the ratio to 2 to 1. Okay, let me go with 12 to 1, and then reduce the attack. You can copy these settings if you want to. These are settings that usually work on most vocals, so it's okay if you copy the exact. In this case, only in this situation, of course. So we have a threshold of about -40, and let's just listen to that.
Don't hide it from me. To be like a healing got him tango, baby. To be like a healing got him kango, baby.
Okay, so this is good, and the vocal now sounds more clear, and the reverb is just behind the vocal a bit. But then the problem is that we don't want the reverb to be quiet throughout, because the settings right now of the compressor are constant. So this is why we come to bring in that sidechain too. So to activate your sidechain, just click this button, and then once it's clicked, go to your channel where you want your reverb to be to affect. And since we already have the wet signal here, all you have to do now is come here and choose this sidechain, which is showing reverb. So this option will only come once you activate the compressor. You won't see it if you haven't activated the sidechain on the compressor. So we're going to click that and simply activate it, and then choose the level of reverb that we want. So let me just play that now.
Girl, don't hide it from me. Tupilako ilinga timtengo, baby. Tupilako ilinga timkango, baby. You're my Nefertiti, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See, I pay attention, formation. She got the right energy, baby, wanna play.
So let's just mute this so that we can tell the difference, the bypass between the wet reverb and the dry reverb signal.
Girl, don't hide it from me. Tupilako ilinga timtengo, baby. Tupilako ilinga timkango, baby. You're my Nefertiti, Queen and Bella Nikki. One mission, position. See, I pay attention, formation. She got the right energy, baby, wanna play with a J. What's it gon' baby?
Have you seen how much more smooth and wet the vocal sound with the reverb coming in? And if you notice, the reverb was only being heard a lot only on the parts which were muted. So if you couldn't hear that clearly, then I'm going to try and play this from the intro. Hopefully we'll be able to get more reverb on the intro.
Everybody, please take care, buddy.
So you'll only be able to hear the reverb if you're using the right pair of headsets or right pair of speakers. I'm sure you'll notice the reverb coming in just a few minutes behind after the vocal signal comes in or comes out rather. So that's one way of making or smoothening your reverbs in the background. That's all you need to do. We are done on the reverb. Now let's try and go to our delay. So there's something that we're going to do on the delay is first introduce our delay to the channel that we want to introduce it to. So we're going to pick our delay. Okay, and then switch it on. Sorry, my PC. Okay, all right. Okay, let's just listen to what we have on the delay now. So I'm just going to go to our delay channel and open our delay and try to set it first before we try to add a compressor later. So let me just, I usually love using ping pong so that our delay can create its own space. And then in this case, we're going to choose a 144, let's go for 1/4 note. And let's listen to that. Okay, so I'm just going to try and cut off some lows on this delay, and then I'm going to put that around 1300. Going to cut off some highs there, and then you can put this on 25 and this on 2. You can copy these settings, they usually work perfectly most of the time, and then just take off this analog if you don't want the analog sound on your delay. So let's listen to that now. Everybody, take care, buddy. Walk her, buddy. Okay, so I like, I don't know about you, but I like the way the reverb or the delay now sounds. But then one bad thing about it is that it sounds too much. It's too much in the face. It's fighting too much with the leading vocal. So we want the delays to be behind. And how we're going to do that is by introducing the compressor again. So we're just going to get the C1 compressor by Waves and then use the same settings that we use on our reverb. So we're just going to go with, you can choose any, you can change, of course, the settings based on how you want it. If you feel like you need less threshold on it, that's up to you. But in this case, I use the same settings that I used on the reverb. So everybody, please take care, buddy. Walk her, buddy. Please walk her, buddy. Okay, so let me just mute the beat for now. But I'm sure you noticed the reverbs at least were more behind. But again, we don't want the reverb, or the delay, sorry. We don't want the delay to be too much in the background all the time. We want it to be a bit louder during the quiet areas. So let's just listen to it without the beat. Everybody, please take care, buddy. Walk her, buddy. Please walk her, buddy. Okay, so to do that, let's do what we did with the reverb again. So press your activate your sidechain and then go to the mix or channel where you want your delay to affect, and then just choose the second sidechain option, which is delay sidechain, and then just before you switch it on, let's listen to how it sounds like without it being on.
Everybody, take care, buddy.
So it sounds very loud, so hence we're going to switch it on to avoid that noise, and let's put it on 0 so that you see how it sounds like when it's on 100% effect.
Everybody, take care, buddy.
Okay, so we're just going to back off it a bit around -3 or 4, just to give you some time to come loud when it's on the quiet parts.
Everybody, take care, buddy.
Okay, let's listen to that with the beat now.
Everybody, take care, buddy. Walk her body, please. Walk her body, take her body, please. Walk her body,
So if you're using the right pair of headsets, you'll notice that the delay is not very active during the parts where the leading vocal is speaking, compared to before when we didn't have the compressor sidechaining. It was almost every time that the feedback on the delay was, kept on being heard in the background. But now it's only being heard during the parts that the vocal goes quiet. So this is one of the easiest ways to add your reverb and your delay in Cubase 12 Pro. So let's just listen to that.
Ooh, girl, don't hide it from me. To be like a healing, got him tango, baby. To be like a healing, got him kango, baby. You man never TT, Queen and Bella Nikki. On a mission, position. See, I pay attention, formation. She got the right energy. Baby, wanna play with a J. What's it gon' be? We don't know fake ideas. Melanin pop OJ. Everybody gon' say, baby girl, wine insane. Daddy gon' buy you bands, buy you something. Just up on Sony Bay. Wish I've done Ronnie Play, Rolly Play.
Okay, so that's all I did. And the other way of adding reverb, for those that like adding long and short reverb. So in this case, all I did was to add the tight, almost represents the short type of reverb. Hence, I went for -5. So I only added that so that it has more wetness on the vocal.
Ooh, girl, don't hide it from me. To be like a healing, got him tango, baby. To be like a healing, got him kango, baby. You man never TT, Queen and Bella Nikki. On a mission, position. See, I pay attention, formation. She got the right energy. Baby, wanna play with a J. What's it gon' be? We don't know fake ideas. Melanin pop OJ. Everybody gon' say, baby girl, wine insane. Daddy gon' buy you bands, buy you something. Just up on Sony Bay. Wish I've done Ronnie Play, Rolly Play. I wanna fuck that body. I wanna take that body. I want your body. Girl, don't hide it from me.
All right, so that's about it. And this is all I did on the delay and reverb of this track. So I hope you liked and learned something from this tutorial. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and please keep supporting this channel. I appreciate all those that have subscribed and keep sharing my work. Hope you learned something. For any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, it's bye for now and love you all.